soft wind, desert dawn. Birds echo faintly. Warm golden light spreads across tents. In the land of Canaan, among flocks and shepherds, lived a boy who dreamed too much. His name was Joseph, son of Jacob the beloved one, clothed in colors of many shades. But sometimes, the gift that makes you different is the very thing that makes others despise you. Joseph's father, Jacob, loved him more than the others. He saw in him the promise of greatness, the reflection of Rachel, his lost love. But his brothers saw arrogance. Every smile Joseph gave felt like a challenge. Every word he spoke, a boast. Joseph's soft, youthful voice. Listen, brothers, I had a dream last night. We were binding sheaves in the field, and suddenly my sheaf stood upright, and yours gathered around it and bowed to mine. Reuben's sarcastic tone. So you plan to rule over us now, dreamer? They laughed. But envy began to boil in their hearts. A few days later, Joseph dreamed again of the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowing down before him. Even his father rebuked him. But deep inside, Jacob remembered those words. The journey to Shechem, sound, morning roosters, camel bells, crunch of sand under sandals. One morning, Jacob sent Joseph to find his brothers, who were tending sheep in Shechem. The young dreamer walked alone through the wilderness, unaware that destiny and betrayal were about to meet on the same road. From afar, his brothers saw him coming. The robe of many colors shimmered in the sun, a reminder of everything they hated. Simeon gritting teeth. Here comes the dreamer. Let's kill him and see what becomes of his dreams. Reuben. No, don't shed his blood. Throw him into that pit. We'll teach him a lesson. They stripped him of his robe, that beautiful coat his father had made, and threw him into a dry well. The dreamer cried out, his voice echoing against the stone walls. But no mercy came. Above him, laughter and footsteps faded. Joseph echoing, help, brothers, fades into silence. Sometimes, the path to the palace begins in a pit. Sometimes, your cry goes unheard because God is preparing a greater sound. The sound of purpose. Sold for silver. As Joseph sat weeping in the pit, dust and fear in his throat, a caravan of Ishmaelite traders passed by, their camels carrying spices and silver. Judah's heart stirred with the wicked thought. Judah, what do we gain by killing him? Let's sell him to these traders. After all, he's our brother. And so, for 20 pieces of silver, they sold Joseph. A boy once clothed in colors was now bound in ropes, walking toward Egypt, betrayed by blood, bought by strangers. But heaven was not silent. It was watching. Sound, goats bleating, fabric tearing, distant mourning cries. The brothers dipped Joseph's robe in goat's blood and brought it to Jacob. The old man's hands trembled as he held it. Jacob broke in voice, it is my son's coat. A wild beast has devoured him. He tore his garments and mourned many days. But Joseph still lived far away, on a road paved with destiny, betrayal, pain, confusion. Joseph didn't know that the same brothers who betrayed him would one day kneel before him. The pit was only a doorway, and sometimes, the hands that push you down are unknowingly pushing you into your purpose. This is not the end of Joseph's story. It is only the beginning. Genesis 37-28. So the Midianite traders took Joseph to Egypt.
Slow desert wind, the sound of camel hooves on sand. The sun burns red over endless dunes, chained, dusty, alone. The dreamer from Canaan now walked as a slave through the desert of Egypt. Every step away from home felt like a step away from the promise. But heaven had not turned away. The Ishmaelite traders led him through the city gates of Egypt, the land of power, pyramids, and gods carved from stone. Here, Joseph was nothing more than a number, a price, a stranger. Potiphar's house. Among the crowd stood Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard, a man of high rank and sharp eyes. He saw something different in the boy, calmness, a confidence, almost divine. Potiphar bought Joseph and took him to his household. Days passed. The young Hebrew worked with quiet excellence. Every task he touched prospered. Every word he spoke carried grace. Servant whispering, everything he does succeeds. It's as if the gods are with him. But it was not the gods of Egypt. It was the God of heaven. And soon, even Potiphar noticed. Favored servant, Potiphar firm, a kind tone. Joseph, from this day, you will oversee my entire household. I trust you as I trust myself. From slave to steward, God's favor lifted Joseph again. Yet the higher destiny takes you, the stronger the test that waits. Potiphar's wife watched Joseph day after day. His honesty, his beauty, his strength, and her admiration became desire. Potiphar's wife softly, "Come to me, no one will know." Joseph firm, trembling, "How could I do such a wicked thing and sin against my God?" Day after day, he refused her, until one day, she grabbed his robe and he fled, leaving it in her hands. Potiphar's wife angry screamed, "Look, he tried to violate me." Lies filled the air, and truth was buried in silence. Potiphar's heart burned with confusion and rage, but to save his name, he cast Joseph into the royal prison. The prisoner's prayer, from the palace of favor to the pit of darkness, began. Joseph sat alone on the cold stone floor. His robe was gone, his name stained, yet his faith unbroken. Joseph whispering prayer, "Lord, I don't understand your ways, but I know you are with me, even here, and heaven heard." For in that prison, the favor of God still burned, unseen but unshaken. The keeper of the prison noticed something in Joseph, calm authority, even in chains. Soon, he placed all other prisoners under Joseph's care. The one who was bound began to set others free in spirit. God's favor cannot be buried. Even in prison, it grows like a seed in the dark, waiting for light. The cupbearer and the baker. One night, two royal servants, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, were thrown into the same prison. They both had dreams, and their faces were troubled. "Joseph, tell me your dreams. Perhaps God will give us the meaning." Cupbearer, "I saw a vine with 3 branches. It blossomed, and I pressed grapes into Pharaoh's cup." Joseph gentle smile, "In 3 days, Pharaoh will restore you." Baker hopeful, "And in my dream, 3 baskets of bread were on my head, and birds ate from them." Joseph sadly, "In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head." Joseph was forgotten again. On the 3rd day, it happened exactly as Joseph said. The cupbearer returned to Pharaoh, but forgot Joseph's kindness. Days turned to months, months to years, and silence filled the cell once again. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Sometimes the greatest test is not pain, it's patience. But what Joseph could not see was that God was preparing a throne beyond the bars. When people forget you, heaven remembers. When doors close, God builds another way. Joseph's faith was his freedom long before his chains were broken. Genesis 39-21. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy.